Has been your week? How are your families?
Fine, oh, fine, fine.
All right. Nechi, are you with us? So I'm back. So I have to quickly put something in place here. So sorry about that.
I'm here.
Okay. So we can start the class now. So, but before I start, I always like to know. So how has been your week? Any um any development? I don't always like to say challenge anything. So before we now commence the class. All right. So last week we concluded the introductory part to this course. So we are able to understand the definition of economics. So as well, we also look at what are the basic concepts of economics. Also, we are able to discuss about what are the basic economic problems. So we discussed about that. Also, we discussed about economic system. By doing that, we mentioned that we have three economic systems: the capitalist, the socialist, and the mixed economy. We also look at their features, we look at the advantages, and we as well look at the disadvantages. And also, we discussed about the features. So what are the expectations? We solve a question. So we did a multiple choice question, so which we used to round up the class last week. So I always like to advise that please and please, irrespective of the class we are having, also endeavor to dedicate time for your personal reading. So by doing so, you might come across any question. So you bring the question when we are having class, then we sort it out together. So today we'll be looking at the price system. We'll be looking at the price system. We're looking at the price system today. Then before I proceed, I would also like to mention, so possibly next week, so I hope we are all aware that Mr. Joe will also be taking part of this course. Are you aware?
No,
You are not aware? Okay. So there might be need for Mr. Joe to as well take you. So while I will also be taking you some aspect of communication skills. So I'll be doing that. So hopefully next week might be Mr. Joe that will handle it. So while I might take some aspect of communications, we are doing this to ensure that you familiarize yourself with our teaching pattern. So it won't be like maybe just one person handling it. We are going to be ensure that you understand it. And at the end of the day, our aim is to ensure that you write your exam and pass. And I also need to mention, so permit me to say this as well. So one of my students will join us probably while we continue with the class. So he will join us. So he's one of my students, so which I have been taking personally. So when he comes, I will tell him to introduce himself. So I want him to give his testimony. So and also to encourage you to ensure that yes, nothing is impossible. So if you believe and you put the required effort, so you will get the results that you need. So I don't want to talk more. So when he join, I will tell him to introduce himself within 5 minutes. So he will do that and he can now leave. So today we'll be looking at the price system. So we need to understand that in any economy, there is price. We need to understand that there is price. There is a saying that there is price for everything. So everything we do in life, even outside economics, there is always price for it. That is, there is also always a value attached to it, because whatever has value, so it means there is always a reward for it. So we want to look at this. So this is our objective. So we want to ensure that at the end of this chapter, we are able to understand the concept of demand. We're able to understand the concept of demand. Also, at the end of this chapter, we should be able to understand what are the concepts of supply, then obtain the equilibrium price and quantity in the market. Also, at the end of this session, we should be able to determine the effect of shift in the demand and supply curve on equilibrium price quantity. And finally, at the end of this chapter, we should be able to understand and explain the application of demand and supply diagram to issues of price control and minimum wage legislation. So let's quickly look at let's go into the introduction. So today we'll be looking at price system. So what is price? So I always say that price is a value. I believe that for you to be at this session, this class that we're having now, it means
Part
there
of
is
the
a,
slide is not
yes,
showing. Part of the slide is not showing, like that introduction now. Part
it's
of
not
this,
showing.
like is half.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me do justice to that. How about now? It's still the same thing?
Still the same thing.
Okay, how about now?
Okay, yes, it's okay now.
But can you see the full package of everything in full now? Everything.
Not everything, even the end inside.
Okay, let me adjust that. How about now?
Yes.
Okay, so let's maintain it this way. So like I was saying, we'll be looking at the price system. So I want to believe that for you to be on this call, both Nenchi and Clifford, it means there is a value. Yes or no? Or yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about price, so price is the monetary value. Don't forget that in economics, we are talking about monetary value. So price is the monetary value of commodity or service. It is the amount of money one exchanges for a commodity. So if Clifford is selling, let's say car now, and I need the service of Clifford. I want to buy a car from him. So it means for me to get the car from Clifford, I'm going to exchange a price. That is, I have a price to pay in order for me to get the car from Clifford. And Clifford also have something to get from me, which is in what? Which is money. So that is what we refer to as what? Price. So it is the amount of money one exchanges for your commodity. In the free market system, the price of a commodity is determined by the interaction of the forces of market demand. So this price we are talking about now, it is not just anyhow price. It is not just the price I want to pay. It is not just the price you want to sell. So there is what we call determination of what? Of price. So we have some forces that determine that price. We have some forces that regulate the price. So that forces is what we refer to as what? Forces of what? Market demand. So when we talk about demand, we are talking about the buyers. Don't forget demand. That is the people that want to buy. You that want to buy is what we call demand. So we have the forces of market demand and supply. So what is the meaning of forces of market demand? That is the collection of those that want to buy, the collection of buyers. And what the meaning of market supply? Forces of market supply. That is the collection of what? Sellers. So what we are saying is that the price of every commodity are determined or is determined by the what? By both the interaction of the forces of what? Of demand and supply. So the process by which the market forces of demand and supply interact, the process by which they interact together in order to fix a price of a commodity is referred to as price mechanism. So price mechanism is the process by which both the forces of market demand and forces of market what? Supply interact together in order to what? To fix a price. So the market mechanism is the process by which the market forces of demand and supply interact to fix price and the quantity of the what? Of the commodity. So it's not about just the price. So they fix the price of the commodity And as well, they fix the price of the what? The quantity of such commodity. Please, are you with me? So I can know we are together.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So having understand the definition of price. Now let's proceed. Now we know what price is now. So what is demand? To a layman, that is, even if you see an old man now and you ask the old man, I want to demand this, I want to buy this, I want to do this. So that is a layman understanding of demand. But as an academic definition, academic understanding of demand, demand is the quantity. Please, let's take note. Demand is the quantity of goods or services that consumers are willing and are able to buy at a given price within a specified period of time. Demand is the quantity of goods or services that consumer are what? Are willing and that are able to buy at a given price within a specified period of time, when other things, other demand factors remain unchanged. So please, sorry, it was my network. So sorry about that. So I had to just, I don't, can you hear me now, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So demand is the quantity of goods or services that consumers are willing and are able to buy at a given price within a specified period of time, when other demand factors remain unchanged. Please, if you look at this definition, I want us to take note of some key terms there. What are the key terms? Number one is the quantity. So when defining demand, I always advise that students should ensure that they put the required keywords there. So we have the quantity, that is one. We also have willingness to buy at a given price at a specified period of time, and when other demand factors. So when we are talking about other demand factors, we are still going to get there. So we have so many demand factors. One of the demand factor is what? Your income level. That is one. Your taste and preference is another thing. Climate factor is another thing. Price of other commodities. So we are going to get there. So what is the law of demand? So the way consumer reacts to a change in price of a commodity is so typical that economists state it as a rule or law. So that is the reaction of consumers to price. So it's quite, let me say, fantastic. It's fantastic. Because what will determine the quantity that a consumer will buy is the price. It's not really about the quantity. It is the price that determines how many quantity you buy. And that is what law of demand states. So that the quantity demanded of a good, the quantity demanded of a good or services is inversely related to its price. That is, it is the price that determines what quantity an individual will be willing to buy. It is the price. That is when other factors remain unchanged. So let me give us a practical example. If Nenchi, as a case study now, want to buy a car, I like using car because me I like car. So if Nenchi want to buy a car, let's say Venza, or Nenchi do not like Venza. So if Nenchi want to buy a car, or let me say private jet, so and it is worth 5 million naira. Let's say the car is worth 5 million naira now. That is don't forget that 5 million naira is the price of the car. Now, Inechi can decide to say, okay, she wants to buy 2 cars, which is 10 million naira. That is Inechi wants. She wants to buy 2 cars. But in a situation whereby there is another factor, don't forget that it is not just about the price. That is why we say when other factors remain unchanged, or when other factors are constant, it's either they are unchanged or they remain constant. It's the same thing. So if Inechi want to buy 2 cars, sorry, which is 10 million naira. So it's not what this law is stating is that it is not just about the price alone that will determine if Inechi will buy the car or not. So what will now determine it? There are now some other factors. That is where we say that's why we now say when other demand factors remain unchanged. So if the income of Inechi is 5 million naira and she wants to buy 2 cars, of which one is sell at 5 million naira. So it means that Inechi cannot afford to buy that 2 cars. She can only afford to buy what? 1 car. Why? Because of the factor. And what is the factor? The income, the money in her pocket. That is the factor. That is the income level of Inechi will now determine if she can afford that price of the car and the quantity that she can buy. That is one. Clifford can say, okay, Clifford, I don't want Venza. Maybe Clifford wants Pathfinder or Range Rover or Land Rover, any of the brand. Maybe that is what Clifford wants. So it is not just about taste, which is a factor, and preference of Clifford. So we will not look at other factors too, apart from taste and preference, which is the income. That is another thing. You now look at the weather. That if I buy Venza now and I'm driving car to, let's say, a place like Abulegba every day, there will be flood. That is the climate. Or there will be too much of sun. There will be this and that. You need to consider other factors. So in summary, law of demand states that the price of a commodity is what determines the quantity that you will be willing to buy or pay for. So that is, in summary, the higher the price of a commodity, the higher the price, the lower the quantity that consumer will be willing to buy. But the lower the price, the higher the quantity that a consumer will be willing to buy. So that is for law of demand. Now we proceed to the demand schedule. Demand schedule. What is demand schedule? Demand schedule is a table showing a list of various prices of a commodity and the corresponding quantities that will be purchased at a particular period of time when other factors remain unchanged or remain constant. So demand schedule is a table that shows the price. For example, I want to buy rice, I want to buy beans, I want to buy gari. So that is the what? That is the product. So you have a column for product. You also have a column in a table for the price. Let's say beans is 500 naira, rice 1,000 naira, gari 2,000 naira. Then you're also going to have another column for the quantity that will be demanded. So that is a demand schedule. Please, are we progressing?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so before we proceed, do we have any question, Clifford? So based on what we have been discussing so far, is there any area you want us to quickly review now before we proceed? Likewise, Inechi.
None from me.
Okay, that means we can proceed. Okay. Now, having understood the demand schedule, so we also look at the demand curve, or we call it demand graph. So this, don't forget that we have talked about demand schedule now. So it is from that demand schedule that we can now come up with demand curve. What is demand curve? Demand curve is a graph that shows the various quantity that will be bought at given prices of a commodity and at a period of time when all other demand factors remain unchanged. You see, I like to emphasize more on this. Whenever you are defining demand, please and please always ensure that you put these keywords when other demand factors remain unchanged. Don't forget that I said that it is not actually about the price alone that determine what quantity you buy. There are other factors that can as well determine the quantity that you'll be willing to buy. So let's move on to demand function. So we call it demand function. We can as well call it demand equation. Can as well call it demand equation. What is demand function? The demand function or demand equation is a mathematical expression that relates the quantity demanded of goods and services to all demand factors, including the own price of the goods or services. So what we are saying is that demand function is a mathematical expression. When we say mathematical expression, that it is expressed in a mathematical what? Way. And what does that do? That mathematical expression want to relate the quantity that will be demanded with all other demand factors. You know, when we talk about demand factors, let me quickly emphasize that now. When we talk about demand factors or factors affecting demand, let me even throw it as a question before I Clifford. So based on your understanding, so what do you think are the factors that can affect demand?
Factors that can what?
Affect demand.
Mm, price.
Okay, is it only the price?
Mm,
Let me help you this way. You know what demand is. Let's assume that you demand to buy a house now. So when we say factors, factors means what are those things that can make you not to buy or that can make you to buy. That is the meaning of what we call factors. So if you want to buy a house now, you now look at it. What are those things that can make you to buy that house? What are those things that can make you not to buy? It's not about not to buy alone. That can also make you to buy it. That is what we call factors. So I've helped you like that.
Okay, price and location. Mm,
Okay, you've tried. Let's try Inechi. Inechi, help us.
Um, we have the consumer's taste or what
Who
he
is the
prefers.
consumer?
You and I.
Okay, thank you. One.
Um, income of income.
Okay, oh yeah, give us another one again before we continue.
The price of related commodities or services.
Okay, thank you. I'm very sure that you can see it on the screen already, Ali. Nechi.
Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. Clifford, Inechi has just given us three. You know why I was laughing a little? It's because even with what I ask now, the answer is on the screen already. But let me emphasize more. When we talk about factors that can affect demand, I like always using practical example. If I want to buy a house now, don't forget that is my want. I want to buy it. Sorry, I need a house. I want to buy it. So I will not look at it. Even in the definition, you can even pick some factors in the definition. I'm willing to buy a house now. That is, I mean, I demand a house now. I will not look at it. If this house is 50 million naira, which is the price of the house, the next question is I will not ask, what is my income capacity? That is, what is my purchasing power? This house is 50 million naira and my income is just 10 million naira. So it means I am willing to buy, right? But there is no what? Ability to buy. So that is why whenever you are defining demand, it's not just about willing to buy alone. Are you able to buy it? So willingness is anybody can will to buy. I can decide that I'm willing to go to London. Fine. But did I have the ability to do it? So that is where consumer incomes come. Another thing is your consumer taste. What is your taste and preference? When I look at that house that I want to buy, I may say this house, they paint it color red. I don't like color red. I like color green. That is taste. It means I can decide not to buy that house again. Why? Because it is not up to my what? Taste. I don't like the color. So because of the color, I can decide not to buy that house. That is where consumer taste come in. Then I will now look at what is the prices of related commodity. So don't forget that that house that I want to buy is not the only house in that area. I will also see that kind of house. I will probably see it in that street. Let's say in the street now. So I will now look at if this one is 50 million naira. Okay, this one said they want to sell their own 40 million naira, 45 million naira. The same house. So I will look at the price of related that is similar what? That is similar with the one I want to buy. That is another factor. Then I will now look at advertisement. What is advertisement? All of us we know very well that if I want to buy a chair now that I want to put in my room, I can decide to call carpenter in my street. Mr. Shegun, carpenter, I want to do chair. Maybe Shegun will collect, maybe let's say 100,000 naira from me, and he will do it very well. But because some of us, as human beings, our want, we always want to feel big. That same chair, you can go and buy it on Jumia for 300,000. In a chair, am I right? In a chair, I said, am I right? Are you following?
Yes.
Yes, that same house, that same share, I can buy it 300,000. But because when one of your friends now come and visit you, Nechi, I like this share. Where did you buy it from? I buy it from Jumia. By mentioning Jumia, your friend will feel like, wow. So you are a big girl like this, so you can order from Jumia. But imagine that Clifford, now one of Clifford's friends now come and visit Clifford. Let's say Clifford friend is Peter now. Ah, Clifford, how far? This your share, I like it. Oh. Where did you do it from? Ah, it's one of my carpenter in the next street that I did it. You know, your friend will start looking at it that, oh, you look at Clifford. You cannot even order online. You cannot even go to big places and get share. So that is the way the rate at which the advertising system, you know, we make you to say, okay, you can decide to buy from here or not to buy from here. And it is not limited to the one we can see on the board here. We also have technology. Technology is also a factor that can affect demand. Let's look at phone, for example, now. If I ask Nathan that between iPhone now and Techno, which one do you want? I'm very sure that Nathan will not mention Techno. Why? Because you look at what are the features that is on iPhone, what are the features that is on Techno. So that is another factor, technology. Or not even only limited to phone. Technology in the aspect of means of transportation. You want to go to Kano, for example, now, and somebody said you will pay for your trip to plane, but to Kano by plane, and somebody said we give you money to go by road. So which one are you going to choose? You definitely want to choose what? The fastest one. That is what technology have brought for us. Then another one again is the climate, that is weather. I mentioned last time when I was explaining to Niti that during dry season now, when there is sun, somebody is now selling cardigan. You know, let's look at it together. Do you think the person will sell much like that? When there is sun, heat.
No.
The person will not really sell because that weather does not align with the product the person is selling. But when somebody is selling soft drink, pure water, cold one, when there is heat, the person will say yes or no. So it means that people demand based on what? Weather. So all of these are factors affecting demand. And they are what make up or what constitute the demand function. So let's continue. So looking at the board, we have QS. QS, the X there represents quantity demanded of a product. That X can be beans. So quantity demanded of beans is subject to what? To F, open bracket, PS. That PS represents what? Price of the goods. PR represents what? Price of related commodity. Y represents what? Consumer income. T represents consumer taste. A represents advertisement expenditure on the goods and services. So when the other demand factor apart from the commodity price are held constant, the demand function reduced to F of PS. That is the real function of demand. The real demand function is QS equals to F of PS. That is this one. This is the real function for demand. This is the function of demand. Please take note of that. So we are going to look at a question now. So QS equals to F of PS, where your PS is what? The price of the good. And that X there can represent any product, maybe beans or rice. So let's move on. So can we see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, this is a question that, please, whenever whenever I mention the word expect, if I were you, even if it is possible for you to screenshot. I'm not saying this exact question, no, but this particular area of topic, I'm very sure. That's what I always tell my student that time. He'll be laughing. But God save him in ATS1, but when he gets to ATS2, whenever I say this, he never joke with it. So God will do your own. So look at this illustration. The demand function for amala is given as QD equals to 140 minus 0.02p. Don't forget that your P represents your what? Price, while your QD represents quantity demanded. So the quantity demanded of the product it means what? QD, please take note again. So the question now asks us that we should find the quantity that will be consumed. If the price is 1,000 naira, that is question 1. We should also find the quantity that will be what? Demanded. If the price is what? 1,500. This is an example of demand function. The one I just highlighted is an example of demand function, and you'll be given something like this, similar to this in exam. Please take note. Maybe on that theory. So how do we do this? How do we do this? So it is that same what? Same function that we are going to use. So let me do that here. So we have QD equals to 140. This is the function they give us. Please, are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the function given to us. Let me highlight it again so you can see. This is what we call demand function. This is the one I highlighted here. Is what we call demand function. The QD represents quantity demanded. Anywhere you see P, it means the price. So the question is that if we are giving this as demand function minus what is 0.02 P. This is what we are given as demand function. The question now said that we should find the quantity that will be demanded if the price is 1,000 naira. So for you to do this, this is very simple. So what we just do is that you will now say QD equals to 140 minus what is 0.02. Then what is our P? In nature, what is our P?
$1,000.
So thank you very much. So we are doing this first, the A part first. That is 1,000. Thank you. Please, are you with calculator there? Or you can as well probably maybe use your phone. So what we now do now, we have QD equals to 140 minus. So someone should multiply 1,000 by 0.02.
20.
20. Thank you very much. So we have 20. So what is 140 minus 20?
120.
Thank you very much. That is 120. So let me now ask, this 120, is it going to be in naira or unit?
It will be in units.
Clifford, do you agree?
Yes.
Why?
I think assuming it was like price, that is when it will be in naira, but it is not the price, it is just the quantity that was demanded, so it should be in units.
God bless you very much. Thank you very much, my brother. So that is just the answer. You've said it. So the answer will be in what? So it means the quantity that will be demanded, if the price is 1,000, will be 120 units of what? Amala. That is the answer. That is the answer to that. 120 units of. So let's do the second part. Let's use the same thing here. So if the price is now 1,2, now what we just do is nothing much. You just change this one to 1,2. So when we multiply that one by 1,5. So what will it give us? Let's do that.
That's 30.
30. Thank you very much, my brother. So we have 30. By the time we now subtract, what is it going to give us?
110.
110. So that is our answer. So you can see that the question is very straightforward. As simple as it is, sometimes if you don't understand it, you will think it's something big. So let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. So any questions so far? So we can move on.
question.
Thank you. So let's move on to determinant of demand. When we say determinant of demand, it means it's something that we are going to skip this part. Is that we are talking about what? In nature, what are we talking about? When we say determinant of demand, what are we talking about?
The factors that affect demand.
Thank you very much. So that is just it. So sometimes you will see some words in exam. You now start looking at it like, is it something big? So sometimes they can ask you in exam, what are the determinants of demand? They will not ask what are the factors affecting demand. They will not put it like that in exam. They will ask you that describe or list the determinants of demand. So the determinant of demand simply means what are those factors that affect the quantity that will be demanded of a what? Of a commodity. And have you not mentioned it?
Yes.
So let's look at it again here. Look at my screen. We have consumers' income, price of related goods and services. We have consumer taste, consumer expectation, population, marketing strategies. Can you see now? Weather, availability of what? Credit. Now let me explain about availability of credit. That is, if you want to buy something from someone now, please, Mrs. Francis, please, can you sell this thing for me? I will pay you tomorrow, please. And the person sell it for you. And you go to another person. I want to buy this. Can you sell this thing for me? No, me, I can't sell it for you. I can't sell it. I don't sell on credit. In nature, what will happen?
You will not be able to buy if the person can't
Yes, because
sell it
even the
on
one that you
credit.
want to buy on credit, it's not that you will not pay. Sure, you know. But you just want to make sure that you buy it at least for that particular period. Then later you pay the person. But you now go to someone that you want to buy. No, I don't sell on credit. You go to the tomorrow. That person will lose customer. So sometimes you need to also learn to sell on. I'm not saying that selling on credit is good, though, but it's one of the way to attract customer, especially when you give discounts too. So another factor is cost of borrowing. All of these that we mentioned here, they are what affect demand, or what we refer to as determinant of demand. Now, before I proceed, don't mind me, I like asking questions very well. So I want us to be carrying along together. Clifford,
Yes, I'm here.
oh yeah, please differentiate between goods and services. Differentiate between the two.
Mm, can you hear
Did
me?
you, did you get the question?
You said I should
Differentiate between goods and services.
um goods are like items. Goods are items like you are selling, while um services services are actions or like performances that can't be owned, that are hard to return. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, the two, both goods and services need to be done. Okay, in nature, want to try. Oh, yeah.
Good. goods are more physical and services are not really physical like that.
Okay, thank you very much. You both tried. So Inechi is very close. Clifford also tried too. But this is how you define it. Don't forget that both goods and services, they both have value. That is one thing you should know. Either it is goods, either it is service. They both have what? Value. They both have a price. But if you want to define goods, goods can be quantified. Are you with me? Goods are what? Quantifiable. Quantifiable means it's something that you can count. It's not really about counting itself. It's more of what? Physical. Things that you can see. Let me put it that way. Just as nature have said, that you can touch. Are you getting it now? So goods are what? Are commodities that has what? Physical what? Value. Physical price. To satisfy what? Human want. That is goods. So when we talk of services, services are what? Are rendered. Just as Clifford have also said. Services are what? Rendered. Like what I'm doing now. What am I doing now to you people? I'm rendering what? Services. Yes or no? That is, I'm teaching. If Clifford decides to go and help one woman to fix our light now, what is Clifford doing now? Is rendering service. But let's say Clifford is now selling car. Clifford is selling phone. Clifford is selling shoe. Clifford is selling what? Goods. That is the difference. Now, where I'm going is that both services and goods combined together is what we call what? Product. That is where I'm going. Because when they mention product, people always think it is only goods. It's only what you can see. No. When we talk about product, we have some people that are into business that they don't sell goods. What they do is what? They render services. Example, an hairdresser now that only plates hair for people. Maybe the person is not even selling hair plating material. The only thing the person is to plate hair. That person is also selling a product. That is what people don't know. When we say he's not selling goods, it's a lie. The person is selling a product. You now specify what kind of product. The person is rendering services. Is that clear now? So let's move on. Is it clear now, Nature and Clifford?
Yes.
Yes.
But have it in mind that both of them has what? Value. That is, they both have price. So let's move on. Now, those factors that affect demand, those determinants of demand that we've mentioned, these are their explanation. Let's just touch them. So consumer income as one of the determinants of demand. A change in consumer income may bring about a change in the demand for a good or services. However, the direction of change in demand will depend on the type of commodity in question. This is another angle we are coming from now. We know we've said that before. That's what will determine if you'll be able to buy a particular product that you are willing to buy. Is the what? One of it is your income level. And income level is the same thing as your purchasing power. Can you afford it? Now, here they're now saying that it is not just about the income alone. The direction of change in demand will depend on the type of what? Commodity. So please also take note of this. Can also be an exam question too. So what are the type of commodity that we have? We have normal goods. Demand might increase when consumer income increases.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Please explain that direction of change again.
Okay, the direction of change in demand will depend on the type of commodity in question. So what we are saying here is that what we determine or what will make you to make a choice to buy a product. Don't forget that demand you have not buy. Demand is a willingness and the ability to what? to pay or to buy, right? So the direction of the change in demand, don't forget that there can be change in demand. What can make there be change in demand? All these factors that we have mentioned can make you to change your demand. But this one we are not talking about your income. That is, let me give you practical explanation. Clifford want to buy a car now. That is, you are willing to buy a car. Are you with me now? Now, you now look at your pocket. That car is 10 million naira. I've explained this to you before. The car is 10 million naira. Right? Fine. You also want to buy power bike. Car is 10 million naira. Power bike is, let's say, 5 million naira. Now, you now look at your income, the money in your pocket. Don't forget that both car and power bike, both of them are your what? Want. I've discussed this last week. The two of them are your wants, not just only car. You also want both of them. If you have the money in your pocket to buy the two, you will buy the two. But your income level, your consumer income, the money in your pocket, your purchasing power cannot do what? Cannot buy the two. Yes or yes, Clifford?
Yes.
So now, left to you now. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a power bike, and the two of them is costing you 15 million naira, and you have 10 million naira in your pocket. I'm going to give you another example. Let me let you understand this first. So what you will do is that you cannot afford the two. So you need to change your what? Your demand. What is making you change your demand? A factor. And what is that factor? Your income. That is one. Number two is that Clifford want to buy beans. I'm talking about cooked beans, so not the one that they have not cooked. Are you with me?
Yes.
That is the meaning of normal goods that we wrote here. Normal goods are goods that has what? Short life span. That is it is something that if you did not use on time, it will spoil. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now, let me now use that one to explain. You want to buy beans. I want to buy garri. When I say beans, cook beans, so which one will you decide to buy based on the type of goods that they are? If you buy beans, you can only choose to buy beans if you know you will eat it finish within one day. If not, you consider that this food will spoil. You might decide to buy what? Garri. Are you getting it now? So what we are saying in essence is that the demand for a particular product we can increase. It's not that it will increase, so it might increase if the income, that is your salary, is also what? Increases. I don't know if you are getting me now.
Yes.
So you that you have been let me make you, I think you should understand like this now. Let's say that Clifford now, every month when you collect your salary now, for example, you will go to Mr. Biggs or any other canteen there. You can first of all go and eat food like 5,000 naira. After that, you buy clothes, you buy shoes, you buy everything. Let's say you are earning 200,000 salary now. But let's say you now see another job that they are paying you 500,000 naira per month. Clifford, be honest with me, what will happen?
I will not be spending that much on food again.
See, Clifford, you are collecting 200,000 naira salary before.
Okay, 200K. Okay, it will
But you are
increase.
not collecting 500K now.
I did not hear the price well before.
Okay. Oh yeah, now yeah, tell us now that you have heard the price now.
And the way the money I spend on eating will increase too.
Thank you. What you just said, that is what some people don't think about. When some people see some job now, people only focus on the what? On the money that they want to pay you. It happened to my friend recently. When you are working in a particular place and they are paying you, let's say, as we just said now, 200,000 now. You now see a job, they want to pay you 700K per month. You know, when you hear the money, you only hear the money, you start, wow, you'll be happy. But what people don't know is that what you consume, your consumption will increase, your demand will increase. Because, you know, we are human beings that we are. That thing will push you now. You that you have been wearing one shirt for 3 days before. Are you whining me? Clifford, you are not talking me. You have been wearing maybe one shirt for 2 days, managing it. Now you are collecting salary. My brother, you will go to boutique. At least you will buy 3 or 4 shirts. Am I not making sense? You can't
Yeah.
do any that kind of money and you are still living the lifestyle of 200,000. It will change no matter how you want to manage. You can't tell me you want to manage. Your lifestyle will still change small. And by changing, you are not thinking that money that you are also spending from that salary is also reducing too. That is where your brother will call you, Uncle Clifford, please now, should be promising you give me that money, please. Because they also know that when you have money, you cannot hide it. That is the secret. I always tell you. No matter how you want to manage or you tell me you can manage, you cannot hide it. Money is, that thing we want to use, it will push you small. You can't have money in return. You are not hiding it. You are now on the suffering yourself now. You want to spend small. People, and by spending small, even if not everybody will observe, there's people that will observe you that something has changed in this boy. They will know that even if you did not tell them, this boy probably one money have entered his hand. That is why they start coming and be meeting you. This now, I'm bro, people help us with this. Even your family, your younger ones, will come and be doing that. And by doing that, that money that you think you are collecting that is big, before you see it now, even when you are earning 200,000 naira, you are packaging yourself. You are not going to show off too much. People will not come and be disturbing you much. But the more you are making money too much, the more they will be disturbing you too much. That is how an economist should think. Can you understand now? So based on what you have asked, that is, your demand will change. The direction of your demand will change based on what I just said. Because your salary, your income has increased too. So your demand, what you are demanding will change. You that you are using computer wristwatch before, you want to be using wristwatch of big men now. Are you getting it now, Clifford? So the direction of demand will change based on the type of what? Commodity. Let me now also say it in this opposite too. It's not like when you are wearing one shoe, maybe that shoe is a clicker shoe. Are you getting it now? And your income has now increased now. You're not going to say you want to go back to a shoe that is much smaller than that one. No. You always look for something that is much higher than that. So that is that. Then for an inferior goods, demand might what? Decrease when consumer income what? Increases, ceteris paribus. Therefore, inferior goods are goods that we consume more when we are worse off financially and less when we are better off. What I just explained now. When someone did not have money too much, the person can drink garri in the morning, yes or no?
Yes.
The person can even drink garri in the afternoon, and you will ask him, what did he eat? I eat chicken in the morning. Say the person follow you to your room. Why did you do that? Because the person did not have what? Much. So inferior goods are those food that you are eating when there is no money, when you don't have much. Those food that you are managing that, and that you cook rice, you not even put any fish, anything on top. As you are managing like that, that one is what we call inferior goods. Are you getting it now? Some people normally call it second-hand goods, like okrika shoe that I mentioned now. Is an example of inferior goods. Because when you have money, you can't go and wear your okrika now or okrika clothes. Are you getting it now? So then the next one is for a necessity. What are necessity? There are things that you cannot do without. Now, let me ask you a question. Whether somebody have money or did not have money, Inechi, will the person eat or not?
They will eat.
Even if you did not eat for some hours, or let's say a day, have you said what I will not eat for 3 days before, and the person will not die?
No.
Even if it's for the person to go and beg, the person will beg. So what we are saying is that no matter how change your income is, whether your income, whether you are earning 500,000 before, and the person is earning 200,000 naira now, or the person is earning 800,000 before, is now collecting 300,000 as salary now, or the person is collecting 300,000 now, is now collecting 500,000 now, as increase, whether it's increase or decrease, they are goods that you must, is a must. You must. So somebody that drink garri and somebody that eat rice, what did they both eat?
Food though.
Someone that wear shoe, all these big guys shoe, and someone that wear slippers, what did they wear?
Footwear.
Footwear. Thank you, my brother. So where we are going is that they are necessity. If you like, be living in a mansion. If you like, let me be living in bungalow. My brother, me and you, we did not sleep outside. That is what they call necessity. So it doesn't matter how they build the house, whether they put 10 AC there, whether there is no any AC there. My brother, we are both in what? In house, which is a necessity. Whether somebody put on 500,000 clothes or somebody put on 5,000 clothes, we are both putting on clothes. As far as we are not walking naked. So that is what they call necessity. But when you see somebody that is not putting on clothes, what will you call the person? You say the person is insane. Yes or no? So that is what you should understand. Then the other one is price of related goods. Price of what? Related goods. When we say related goods, in economics, there is something we call complement or substitute goods. Please and please, if you can jot this thing down, jot it down. If you can screenshot, please screenshot. I beg you. This question, by the time you start solving past questions, you can take me for what I want to say now. You will see most of all these things that I'm saying now. You will see them in because I'm someone that saw past questions a lot. That's how I know all these things. So when we say price of related goods, we are talking about either those goods are complementary goods or they are substitute goods. So what are complementary goods? Complementary goods are goods that has joint demand. Joint demand means if you buy one, you must buy the second one too. If you buy one without buying the second one, it is not useful. Idechi, are you getting it? If you buy one and you did not buy one, it means you cannot use the other one without the support of the other. Example now is like remote and what? Battery. Example is what? Petrol and what? Generator. Car and petrol. I don't know if you are getting it now. So which means if anything happen, Inechi, if anything happen to petrol now, what do you think will happen to car? I can't tell
We'll
you.
not be able to start again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So that is, if the price of petrol increase, what will happen to the price of people that do transport?
They will increase the price.
Thank you. That is what we call complementary goods. Just have it. The definition is very simple. If anything happens to one, it will affect the other. Or if you have one, if you don't have the second one, this one will not work. Look at our biro now, our pen. What is inside our pen? Ink. Without ink, can biro work?
No.
No.
Without film, can you use a camera? So that is why we call it complementary goods. So with complementary goods, a rise in the price of one will lead not only to fall in the demand, but also decrease the demand for the other. So that is what I just said now. A fall in the price of one good will lead to increase in the demand of the other. That is, if one price fall, it will lead to increase in the demand for other. That is complementary goods. Now, the second one now is substitute goods. What are substitute goods? Substitute goods are goods that satisfy the same need or wants of the consumer. Example, pen and biro. Inechi, pen and what? Biro. Are they not the same thing? So what we are saying about substitute goods are, if the price of one fall, what will happen to the other one too? The demand will what? Will also fall. And if the price of one increase, the demand for the other will also increase. Ceteris paribus. Example, Milo and Bonfita. Milo and what? Bonfita. Both of them are what? Chocolate. Shey Clifford, you know Ovaltine?
Yes.
So all of these are what? Chocolate, Bonfita, Milo. They are substitute goods. Substitute means they serve the same purpose. That is, I can decide to say I'm not drinking Milo today. I want to take Bonfita today. Or I'm not taking Bonfita today, I want to take Milo. They both serve the same purpose. If Milo increase the price today now, Milo too will increase the price. Shey you understand? So that is, they serve the same purpose. Just like margarine and butter. You all know margarine and butter. So all of these are what? Substitute goods. Then we also have another factor, consumer taste and preference. Consumer taste and preference. Any change in consumer taste or preference causes demand to change. Increased taste or preference for a particular goods causes demand to what? To increase. While declining taste or preference causes demand to fall. Ceteris paribus. Taste or preference for goods and services are influenced by advertisements, fashion, and sales promotion. I've explained this to you when I was using share to explain that if I go and visit Inechi in her house now, I now ask Inechi, this your share. Where did you buy this share from? She tell me that she buy this share, let's say from Jumia, that popular one. How much did you buy it? I buy this share. I bought this share at 900,000 naira. I was like, wow, this share, you know, that same share, I can get it maybe if I call one carpenter in our street to come and do it. Maybe that one will collect, let's say, maybe 300,000 or 400,000 naira. Shall you understand now? But because of the preference or the taste of the chair, like where the person did the share from, you understand now? Like I always tell people that somebody using iPhone and somebody using Android phone, Clifford, they are both using what?
Phone.
They are both using phone. But do you know that one is senior, one is junior? Sure, you know.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I have a friend. Based on what we are doing now, I have a friend. He's my friend, though, my very close friend, though. I'm being honest with you. If this guy want to buy iPhone 14, I'm being serious with you. He can buy it tomorrow. He's my very close friend. But since I've known him, you can't see more than Android phone from him. Even it was even recent that he changed the one he was using before, and he still changed the Android phone. So that one is not that he did not have the income to buy, but that is his own taste. And I always tell people that because you don't like what I like, does not mean that you are a bad person. or because I did not like what you like, I'm a bad person. No. Everybody in life, we have different taste. So it's not compulsory that what you like, I must like it, or what I like, you must like it. That is what we call taste and preference. If I have 5,000 naira with me now, I can decide to go to Tantalizer now and spend all the money there and eat. You can decide to take your 5,000 naira and go to one booker in your street and eat 2,000 naira. As far as you can get your what? Utility, your satisfaction. That is simple. So that is the meaning of taste and preference. Are you getting it now? So, and this can be influenced based on advertisement, based on fashion. Some of us, we have different fashion. I have someone that the person like wearing, even on Monday, the person is going to office, you see the shirt, all this Ankara shirt that they normally, that is what you wear to shirt. And the one we wear on Monday is different from the one we wear on Tuesday. The one we wear, so that is the person fashion. So that is that about consumer taste. Then we have consumer expectations. The decision to buy a commodity today is influenced by the expected future price of the commodity and the expected change in consumer income. If Clifford decides to buy 2 bags of rice, okay, Clifford is not a Muslim. Let's say Clifford is a Muslim now. Let's assume that is a Muslim. And Ramadan, people that want to fast, Muslim, now their fast will start next month. Maybe Clifford now has money as a big man. Clifford now said that he want to load 10 bags of rice in his house. Why? Because he believed that probably maybe when Ramadan is close, people that are selling rice, they can decide to what? Increase. Or let's say even this Christmas season that just passed now. If you look at it now, some people maybe like two weeks to Christmas, some people will have been buying those things they want to use for Christmas. They'll be buying it small. It's not that the person does not have money, but the person want to buy it so that when Christmas comes, if the price increase, it will not affect the person because the person have already buy it and store it at home. So sometimes the expectation can make you to buy things. They don't want to start, let me go and buy umbrella. So when they will start, umbrella price will not go up. Let me go and buy cardigan. You know, all of those decisions. I don't know if you are getting it now. So what we are going is that if you start to anticipate, you start seeing that price of so thing will increase. You know, based on the way you see the way the country is going. Petrol. It's possible petrol price should go up tomorrow. And you know, you have a place you can buy it and you can keep it. That it will not do good. I'm not saying that you should buy petrol and put it in your room. That one is risky. But you know, even if you can buy like as much as 200 liters, you have a place you can put it safe. You can buy. Because petrol is not something that spoils. So you know, petrol is not a what? It's not a what? It's not a normal goods that can spoil easily. So you understand? Same thing with kerosene. Even if you fill your gas, if you don't use it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I don't think it will spoil. Nothing will happen to it. So all of these are things that you can do based on your expectation. Then the next one is population of consumers. Population of consumers. So population change may affect demand for a commodity. Areas of high population may demand more of certain commodities than areas of low population. For example, Nigeria may demand more of certain goods and services than Ghana because Nigeria population is higher than that of Ghana. So when we say population, let's take Lagos, that me and you that we are, as a study. You know, in Nigeria, Lagos is the most populous. I'm talking about based on population, but based on land mass, how big it is, we can say Kano, we can say Ibadan. But based on population, we should be honest with ourselves. Lagos has the most population in Nigeria because people are coming every day, people are coming every day, people do business. So where I'm going is that let's use Lekki as a case study now. Look at the houses that we have in Lekki. We have mansions. We have many, even apart from Lekki, Bodilon, if you know these places. There are places that has much of population. where people come and go every day. Big companies are there. All of this. So there are some products that you can demand it there. Shey you understand? And there are some products that you may be in some urban areas that you hardly see them even have electricity, even have light sef. So all of these things, there are things you need to consider when making decision to buy or not to buy. Look at Ghana. Even I don't think population of Ghana is even up to Lagos. I'm not sure. But Nigeria, you know, there are some things that you can buy in Nigeria that even if you take it to Ghana, you sell it there. And you sell it very well at a good prices. So where I'm going is that population also affects demand. Population also affects demand. Then marketing strategies such as advertising, publicity, and sales promotion. All of these are a way to get consumer, to get customer. Some people will say buy one, get two, buy three, get four. All of these are what? Marketing strategies. Inechi, we are already rounding up for today's class. I think we have just 3 slides to go. So Inechi, if I'm to ask you, what do you think is the best way to get customer if you are doing business? Let me throw this question to you. Let me see if I will not answer it for you. Like you are doing a business, how do you think you can get customer easily? The best way?
Through advertisements or referrals.
That's the best way. Okay, Clifford. AI also. I know Clifford is a businessman. So Clifford, what do you think is the best way, the best to get customer if you are doing a business?
um It's still that advertising, but just that advertising now, um it depends on the kind of it depends on the kind of goods or what your business is all about. You understand? Maybe somebody that is selling like all these beans, garri in a shop, you cannot be doing advertisement now. It is like the people that advertisement works best for is just like all these clothing companies, shoe companies, car companies, all these people that are selling phones and all these things. Like you do advertisement on social media platforms, and but I don't really think advertisement would work for just like a retailer in the street, or maybe a wholesaler that is in the street also. I just feel like it works best for clothing companies and um all those luxury companies sha.
Okay, thank you very much. I like that insight, that idea. So both Inechi and Clifford, you will try. But you know what I always tell people, that the best, I'm not saying it's the only way, but the best way to sell your business or product, whatever you are doing, is customer what? Satisfaction. Customer what? Satisfaction. So if you have two customers, and those two customers, they patronize you very well, if they can always get what they want from you, and you can, it's not about just giving them what they want, you give them the best of what they want. I'm telling you, you know, we are human beings. Say, you know, you will and this amount that you are seeing now, I'm just laughing here because I'm not showing my video. I'm touching my mouth. This amount can go to London now. People will not say, you want to buy shoe? I know Clifford. If you buy shoe from Clifford, if you even see the way you package it, If you see this and that, who is Clifford? Who is Clifford? Who is he? Okay, let me give you his number. From there, you just see hello. I'm so person. I get a number from so person. They start patronizing you. Before you see it, you start business with the person. The person to you satisfy the person. From there, there. I'm not saying I'm not going to be using other advertising media or whatever too, but the best is to satisfy your consumer. Even if it's only two that you have, manage them very well, satisfy them very well. Before you see it, you will go far. It's even the same thing with people that are working. Let me use working. Let's say you are working for somebody in a company now, and that your guy is doing very well. You know, Clifford, we are doing economics. Let's learn together, and you are an accountant to be. You know, people leave companies sometimes. It's not really about the money they pay them, that the money is small. Sometimes, if you are working in a good environment, your boss advise you, motivate you. Once in a while, he buy gift for you. He asks you about your life. How is your family? What's your plan? What is this? What is that? What is going on in your life? What do you want to do? You know, all of these things will make you feel, it's like it will be as if you are feeling at home. So that I'm not saying that the money too should be small, but at least with all of those things, if you want to go easily, you think that, where are you even going, sir? No, when you get the time to leave, you will leave, but you need to be considering all of those things. So where I'm going is that when you can satisfy the consumer you have, even those little ones you have, they will bring more for you. Then the next one is natural factors. Natural factor means weather. We are talking about weather. Are you getting it now? So season may affect the demand for, like I've mentioned about cardigan, umbrella, and like that. Then we also have availability of credit. So when consumers are giving credit facilities, like if you want to buy something, okay, yeah, buy 10, pay for 3, pay for the remaining 7 later, buy 20, okay, pay for 12 now. The remaining 8, you can pay it when you are selling those ones. Any money you are making from those ones, you can be paying for the remaining 8, small. All of this will also make people willing to what? To buy. The another one again is cost of borrowing. When we say cost of borrowing, that is the interest rate. If you want to borrow money from the bank, bank will add interest. So if the interest is high, imagine somebody that want to borrow you 10 million naira, and interest, for example, is like 4 million naira. Let's look at it together. So you imagine the interest is even about 50% of the money you want to borrow. So all of this can make it, if that is the money, the interest, who hold your money? Let me go and live another way. So all of this can also affect demand. Interest rate can affect demand too. Then I think we have just 2 slides to go, okay? So let's look at types of demand. Are you with me? Types of demand. But before we look at the remaining 3 slides, so let me know if there is any question. Clifford, do we have any question or we should proceed? Nechi, any question?
Let's proceed.
We should proceed.
Yes.
How about Nechi?
We can proceed.
Okay, thank you. So we have types of demand. We have joint, we say we have joint demand, or you call it complementary demand. And we've explained it before. We say goods are said to be joint or complementary demand when they produce more consumer satisfaction when consumed together than when consumed separately. Examples are what? Bread and butter, camera and film. So in summary, when we are defining complementary demand, you can say complementary, please don't mix it together. That one is complementary goods, this one is complementary demand. Get it? So complementary demand, that is when goods are what? Demand, or when they are produced together. Are you getting it now? Or when you consume them together. Let me use the word consume. I prefer consume. When you consume a goods together and you derive more satisfaction from it than when you consume it separate. That is the simple definition of complement. Let's use bread and butter now. Inechi, can you lick butter alone?
No.
Okay, Clifford can lick it.
No.
Okay, so Clifford that cannot lick butter alone. So that is, you can't take butter alone, except you take it with what? Bread or another thing. You know, they normally use butter to do rice. I don't know. But let's just be realistic here. So when you take butter with bread, you derive more satisfaction. Okay, let me ask. Inechi, can you eat bread alone?
Yes.
Eh. Clifford, can you eat bread alone?
No, but most people can eat bread alone, but me, I don't just like it.
Okay, thank you. I like that. I like the fact that both of you are honest. Thank you. So the what we are where we are going is that you can eat bread. Sure, you understand now. But the satisfaction is, don't forget that this explanation does not say you cannot take them alone. No. But the satisfaction you will derive from taking the two together will be much. Yes or yes? So that is it.
Yes.
Thank you. So the next one is competitive demand. Competitive demand. So goods are said to be in competitive demand when they all compete for the same consumers' income. When they compete for the same consumers' what? Income. Such as what? Substitute goods. So where we are going is that, who can explain monopoly? Who can explain monopoly for me? Who can explain monopoly? Okay, let me proceed. When we say monopoly, monopoly is the best way to explain this competitive demand. Monopoly means when you have two or more, not only two or more people that are selling similar what? Products. Example now, let me use the two of you as example. Nechi is selling Bonfita. Clifford is selling Milo. These two goods are what? Substitute. They are what? Substitute. Or let me say Clifford is selling Hollandia. Nechi is selling Picnic. They are both what? Substitute. That is, substitute means I can decide not to take Milo. I can decide to take Bonfita. I will still derive the same taste from it. I can decide not to use Hollandia. I can decide to use Picnic. I will still derive the same taste. I can decide to use goat meat. I can decide not to eat cow meat. They are both meat. I don't know if you are getting the point now. So competitive demand means when when you have people that are producing what, or people that are demanding for goods that have similar what consumption. That is, if Inechi increase the price of Milo now, there's no problem. We don't need to bother. We are not going to be crying or be shouting. Let her increase her price. She will drink her Milo by herself. What I'm saying is that people will stop patronizing her. Why? Because they know there is alternative. They can decide to be taking Bonfita. She means Milo that I will not going to buy. So immediately, by the time she did not sell her Milo, she will reduce the price back. So we now start patronizing the one that has low price. Because we, the consumer, we always like where the price is what? Low. That is when our demand, the high, law of demand. So then the next one is derived demand. What is derived demand? This is where the demand for a final product led to the demand for a second product, which is used to produce the final product. For example, if the demand of a product is not for its own sake, but for the manufacturing of another product, which is in demand. For example, the demand for furniture derives the demand for wood. The demand for petrol drives the demand for crude oil. Generally, Demand for any factor or product is a demand derived what? Demand. Now let me give you an example. This derived demand is also what we can call capital goods. What are capital goods? They are goods that are used to produce another product. Clifford, give us an example of a goods that you know that I can also use to produce another product for further production. Let me put it that way.
Um, Flour for
God
baking.
bless you. Is it flour before?
Is pronounced flour too.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, flour. What can we use flour to do?
Can use it to bake donuts, buns, pop off, all those things.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Inechi, give us one example so we can move to the next thing.
Um, Corn.
Okay, okay. So this you both mentioned now, there are examples of what? Derived demand. So derived demand, that is when you are buying it, you are not buying it because you want to use it to do puff puff. For example, as people has mentioned flour. You can buy it and that same flour can still serve you for another purpose. So it means your decision to buy, your willingness and ability to buy will be based on the fact that what are you using it to do? Is it to just do puff puff alone? Is it that when you use it to do puff puff, some part of it you can see is to do corn, what did he call it? Bake corn, as he mentioned. So those are the things you consider before making your decision or demand to buy. Then the next one is composite demand. What are composite demand? A commodity is said to have a composite demand when it is demanded for alternative uses. For alternative uses means it is not only you are not only buying it because of what you want it to do. It's just similar to derived demand. That is, you are buying that goods for another purpose. For example, now someone that is buying, let's say, um, it's like someone that is buying petrol. This thing I want to say now may be funny. Somebody that is buying petrol and want to use it to cook. All these people that do firewood. You know the petrol suppose normally you're supposed to pour this petrol in your car now or in generator now. But when you now start seeing the person using the petrol to cook, I'm just giving you the illustration. That is, you are not buying it just for the normal use. You can also use it for another purpose. For example, now, a wood has a composite demand because it is demanded for several alternatives. For example, now you can buy wood. You can use it to do table, abi? You can use it to do chair. You can use it to do bed. You can use it to do cupboard. That same wood, some people use it to cook. So you understand? And so that is what composite demand. That is their demand that can be used for alternative uses. Then the next thing we have demand curve. So how many types of demand have we mentioned all together now? So we have just one slide to go. Oh yeah, let's mention them. Clifford mentioned one. Types of demand.
We have um joint or complementary demand.
Nechi,
Derived demand.
another one again.
Competitive demand.
Ah, did I mention that?
Yes.
Competitive demand.
Yes.
Inechi, did I mention competitive demand?
Yes.
What is the other name for competitive demand? Supplementary. Hmm? So you are right. Supplementary demand or competitive demand. Then we also have composite, derived, and yes, competitive demand. All of them are there. So as you can see them here. So then let's move on to the next thing. Demand curve. Demand always changes. It is not a fixed phenomenon. That is, demand change. Our demand, both me and you, it changes. And the change can either reflect a movement along a demand curve or a shift of the curve. A situation when the change in demand is due to a rise or fall in the price of a commodity, that is what we call movement along the demand curve. I repeat again, a situation whereby a change in demand is as a result of what? Increase or decrease in price. That is what we call movement along the demand. Don't forget that there are many reasons why your demand can change. Where your demand for a product can change. Maybe price of it may be other factors, income of the consumer, whatever. But whenever the reason why that change is occurring is as a result of increase or decrease, that is the definition of movement along the demand curve. So let's move on to individual demand and market demand. When we say the demand for a commodity, it means the market demand for that commodity. Since individual consumes the commodity, we may talk of individual demand. So it is not just market demand. So the individual demand for a commodity is the quantities that would be purchased by an individual consumer of the commodity at a given set of prices of the commodity when all other factors influencing demand remain constant or unchanged. For a given set of price for the commodity, individual makes their purchases, the set of prices, and the corresponding quantity purchased by the individual consumer represent his individual demand. So the summary of all this story here is that when we talk of individual demand, we are talking about the what? The quantity of goods or the quantity of commodity that an individual is willing and able to what? To buy at a given price. That is what we call individual. When we talk of market demand, that is the total. Individual is focusing on only one person. Are you with me now? But when we talk about market demand, it is talking about the total quantities that will be purchased by what? That will be purchased by all consumers. Can we see now? Market demand is talking about the total demand, while individual is talking about maybe only Inechi now. When we talk about market demand, I'm talking about the demand of Inechi, the demand of Clifford, and my own demand too. So that is the difference. And the last one, we have exceptions to the law of demand. So we have exception to the law of demand. For a normal goods, as we have said earlier, they said demand curve slope downward from left to right. Please take note, we normally have objective, just as you are also aware. This is a question that can come as an objective question. For normal goods, demand curve slope downward from left to right. If it is possible, take note of that. An exceptional demand curve will occur in each of the following cases. Exceptional demand curve will occur here. So the first one is giving goods. What are giving goods? Giving goods are goods whose demands fall with only a fall in their prices. So that is, These are goods which demand for with only a fall in their prices. Examples of that is people that buy yam. So if the price of yam go down now, people will decide to buy. Are you getting it now? That is an example of giving goods. So if we only see people buying yam now, maybe when the price are what? Are reducing. Then the next one is goods of ostentation. These are goods that are generally perceived as symbol of what? Affluence. Typical examples are luxuries like expensive cars, jewelry, expensive cloth material, which are in greater demand at higher prices than at low price. So this good of ostentation is basically for the rich, like people normally say cars, all these are luxuries. Then the next one is fear of future rise in price. So when there is fear, like expectation, consumer expectation, can make people to what? To buy. Then the next one is consumer ignorance. Consumers may buy more of a good when prices rise due to what? Ignorance. That is why some people that are buying some goods, you buy it from one person, maybe at 1,000 naira. When you get another place, the same thing you buy 1,000 naira, you see them selling it 500 naira. So the reason why it is highlighted, it's not that they are not the same product, but maybe based on the brand, just like I have explained here earlier on. So then we also have consumer surplus. So it is the difference between what the consumers are willing to pay for and what they actually pay for. So I can be willing to pay for a car at 5 million naira, but if I actually pay 2 million naira, so the surplus there is how much? 3 million naira. So consumer surplus, you can be asked to calculate this in exam. It's the difference between what we are willing to pay for. You know, when you want to buy something now, for example, in Echi, you go and price. You start negotiating, I want to buy a shoe. Maybe the person said the shoe is 10,000 naira. You now start talking, this shoe, let me pay 5,000 naira now, please now. You start negotiating it. So if you now finally pay, let's say that 5,000 naira now. So what is the consumer surplus in Echi? You want to buy a shoe. The person says 10,000 naira. You now price it. The person now says you should pay 4,000 naira. What is the consumer surplus? The consumer surplus will be 6,000 naira. So with this, so I think we've come to the end of the class for today. So we've come to the end of the class today. So do we have any question so far? Do we have any questions so far? Clifford, Nechi, do we have any questions so far? So because we can call it a day.
No question.
Okay. How about Clifford?
No question.
Okay. Shebi, are you on the WhatsApp? Are you both on the WhatsApp group too?
Yes.
Okay. So like I've said, there may be reason for us to be having class, not every day, but I will communicate with you. Probably it may be in the night, let's say probably around 9. But it may not, I'm not saying today, but I will let you know ahead. So you understand now? So it's possible so that we can meet up and cover every areas. Then probably from next month, I hope and I pray so. So we may start treating past questions. Do you understand? So God will make it easy. So I'm so sorry that boy could not join. So he's having a class. So they have a class. The lecturer invite them for a class today. So he messaged me late. So probably maybe the next time, maybe next class, so you should be present. So I just want him to motivate you and you hear 1 or 2 things from him. So it's just like a young boy like you too. So God will make it easy for us and we achieve our aim. So I wish you to have a lovely weekend with yourself and your family. And like I always say, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Maybe on the group, just drop any question. or if you need any area of explanation. So thank you and have a lovely weekend and a nice day. So thank you,
Thank you.
Marvelous, and thank you, Clifford,
Thank
Nechi.
you.
All right. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too.